For the government does have the right to tax its citizens and does have the right to distribute wealth to the poor and the needy. In Ezekiel 34, God makes it clear that the kings had a mandate to care for the sick, the poor, and the needy. Thus, governmental welfare is a biblical principle regarding welfare. As I mentioned before regarding Deuteronomy 23, this was meant for the truly poor and needy, not for the greedy or lazy. Welfare in the Old Testament was meant for the widows and the orphans, for women were not allowed to work in those days, and thus if a husband died, then if you were left without a husband or without a father, then you had no form of income. Welfare was meant for those who couldn't provide for themselves, either due to their inability to work or due to the lack of work available. Paul says in 2 Thessalonians 3:10-11 that he who does not work shall not eat, and he comments that some were refusing to work out of laziness and idleness. Here we see from Paul that welfare was not meant for those who refused to work. Additionally, in 1 Timothy 5 verses 8-16, Paul states that people should care for their own family first, stating that if someone does not provide for their family, then they are worse than unbelievers. He states that if widows are under 60, then they should remarry, while they are young and they can find another husband to care for them. If the widows are over 60, then they should have their children or their grandchildren provide for them first. And then, and only after all this, should the widows receive welfare. And of course, it was understood at this point in time that this welfare came from the church, not from the state, since the Roman Empire didn't have welfare. From this, we can see the biblical principles of welfare. Firstly, if you can work, then you should do it and not have welfare. Secondly, if someone can take care of you, then let them care for you first. Thirdly, only if neither of those options are available, then can the government provide welfare. Welfare is not meant to be a livelihood on which one lives. Instead, it should be a crutch upon which one leans before they are able to care for themselves. Thus, welfare should be for things like pensioners, or disability payments for the injured, or even job seeker for those who are currently unemployed but are actively looking for work, or also for parenting payments for single mothers who don't have husbands and fathers to help provide for them. But welfare should not be for the lazy who refuse to work. Such people are thieves who steal from the taxpayers, taking from the government that which they don't deserve.